Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Thursday, November 5, 2020. Al Jazeera report. Fed chief's wish list for economy, more stimulus and mask wearing. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell refused to comment on Thursday about the cliffhanger United States presidential election as he rolled out a wish list of measures to help the nation's economic recovery, including another round of virus relief aid from Congress and more mask wearing by Americans. At a virtual news conference following a two-day policy meeting, during which Fed officials voted unanimously to leave interest rates near zero, Powell said that economic growth and the jobs market are recovering, but improvements are moderating, and both are still well below pre-pandemic levels.
Deutsche Welle report. Slovakia arrests ex-police chiefs over journalist killing. Authorities in Slovakia detain the former head of the police force, Tibor Gaspar, on Thursday along with the former leaders of the special police agency NACA and the anti-corruption police unit. At least one other senior police official was also detained, according to Slovakian media. NACA units launched raids on multiple locations to detain the ex-officials. The authorities triggered the operation, codenamed Purgatory, following an indictment for several crimes, including criminal conspiracy, corruption and abuse of power, a spokeswoman said.
Al Jazeera report. As U.S. awaits election results, COVID-19 cases keep mounting. As people in the United States wait for the results of a hotly contested presidential election, cases of COVID-19 continue to surge in several parts of the country. A dozen U.S. states reported record-high new infections this week, Reuters news agency reported on Thursday, including Illinois and Texas, the two states leading the country in the most cases of COVID-19 reported during the past 7 days.
CNN report. Why are there fears of civil war in Ethiopia? When Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed of Ethiopia received the Nobel Peace Prize last year, he was lauded as a regional peacemaker. Now, he is being asked to pull his own country back from the brink of civil war. Abiy has ordered troops into the rest of Tigray region in the country's north, bordering Eritrea. The Prime Minister says he made the military move in response to an alleged attack by the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF) on a federal military base in the regional capital of Mekelle.
BBC report. Coronavirus. Denmark imposes lockdowns amid mink COVID fears. The government has warned that the effectiveness of any future vaccine could be affected by the mutation. Bars, restaurants, public transport and all public indoor sports will be closed in 7 North Jutland municipalities. The restrictions will come into effect from Friday and initially last until the 3rd of December. It comes soon after an announcement that Denmark would cull all its mink, as many as 17 million.
CNN report. Mortgage rates hit a record low for the 12th time this year. Mortgage rates fell to another record low last week, for the 12th time since the beginning of the year. The average interest rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage dropped to 2.78%, according to Freddie Mac. That's the lowest level in the nearly 50 years of the Mortgage Giants survey. The 15-year fixed-rate mortgage dropped to 2.32%. Despite the uncertainty that we've all experienced this year, the housing market, buoyed by low rates, continues to be a bright spot, said Sam Cater, Freddie Mac's chief economist.
Fox report. Kangaroos, zebras, weed and more found by Canadian police during drug raid. 3 kangaroos and 2 zebras were found by Canadian police at a grow operation that is suspected of peddling illegal weed, authorities said. Members of the York Regional Police found the exotic animals in a village outside Toronto last summer during a months-long investigation into illegal cannabis being sold in the area that resulted in 37 arrests, the department announced last week in a press release.
Deutsche Welle report. Germany approves €1 billion purchase of 38 Eurofighter jets. The German Parliament's Budget Committee on Thursday approved a €5.4 billion $6.35 billion contract to buy 38 Eurofighter jets from Airbus for the country's Air Force. The contract is part of the German Defense Ministry's long-term plan to gain at least 93 Eurofighter jets, along with 45 F-18s from Boeing. Decisions on the purchase of the remaining jets are expected after Germany's federal election next year.
Fox report. Dog accidentally shoots owner in the leg, police say. A dog accidentally fired a gun into its owner's leg recently, the Plano, Texas, police department said this week. The owner was picking up his dog when its paw got lodged in the trigger of the gun in his waistband, sending a bullet through his thigh. The man was not badly hurt. The bullet didn't hit any major arteries, and he was able to drive himself to the hospital. The Plano Police Department took the opportunity to remind Texans to be responsible with guns.
CNN report. UN and EU slam Israel after West Bank demolition leaves 73 Palestinians homeless. The United Nations and the European Union have criticized the demolition by the Israeli military of a large portion of a Palestinian community in the West Bank that left 73 people, including 41 children, homeless. The UN described the demolition in the community of Kirbet Humsa as the largest forced displacement incident in over 4 years. Israel's coordinator of government activities in the territories, COGAT, which administers the occupied West Bank, said 7 tents and 8 pens were destroyed because they were built illegally in a firing zone in the Jordan Valley.
Fox report. NJ Democrat won't resign after tweet about Abraham Lincoln assassination, Trump. A New Jersey Democrat is refusing to resign after a post-election day tweet referencing Abraham Lincoln's assassination surfaced Wednesday. Chris Emmerich, a member of Collingswood's Democratic Committee, made what he claims was a stupid remark when responding to critics of the Lincoln Project, a committee of Republicans against the re-election of President Trump, according to a copy of the tweets obtained by Fox News.
Deutsche Welle report. U.S. election live updates. Trump faces uphill battle for Electoral College win. Michigan Court of Claims Judge Cynthia Stevens said she had no basis to find that there is a substantial likelihood of success on the merits. A judge in Georgia also dismissed a legal challenge by the Trump campaign concerning some 53 absentee ballots in Chatham County, which leans Democratic. The judge threw out the suit after county election officials testified that all of those ballots had been received on time.
BBC report. France terror attacks. Macron calls for EU free movement reform. President Emmanuel Macron said the EU's Schengen area, which allows people to cross borders freely, may need reform. A knife attack in Nice last week, which killed 3 people, was blamed on a Tunisian migrant who crossed into France from Italy in October. It was the second alleged jihadist attack in France in just over a month. France's security alert is at its highest level, with thousands of soldiers deployed to protect places of worship and schools, since teacher Samuel Paty was beheaded for showing cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad to his students.
BBC report. Mexico police arrest man over 2019 Mormon killings. The man, who has only been identified as Alfredo L., was detained in Ciudad Juarez, 1 year to the day after the murders of the 3 Mormon women and 6 children in the state of Sonora. He is the second person to be arrested in connection with the case. The family of the victims says there are more than 100 suspects in the case. 3 women and their 14 children, all part of the LeBaron family, a group of U.S. Mormons who settled in northern Mexico, were traveling in a convoy of 3 cars from the community of La Mora in Sonora State to the neighboring state of Chihuahua.
Al Jazeera report. Facebook bans pro-Trump group for threats of violence. Facebook on Thursday said it had taken down a rapidly growing group where some supporters of U.S. President Donald Trump posted violent rhetoric and baseless claims that Democrats were stealing the election. On Thursday afternoon, the Stop the Steal group, which called for boots on the ground to protect the integrity of the vote, was adding 1,000 new members every 10 seconds and had grown to 365,000 members in a single day.
Fox report. Missing Los Angeles firefighter found dead in Mexico in tragic outcome, officials say. A 20-year veteran of the Los Angeles Fire Department who was reported missing in August while in Mexico was killed by kidnappers, Mexican officials announced Wednesday. The LAFD said that human remains found in Mexico have been identified as 48-year-old veteran firefighter and paramedic Francisco Aguilar. This is a tragic outcome to a case we were hoping would end differently, Los Angeles Fire Chief Ralph Terrazas said in a statement.
CNN report the election isn't over but Wall Street is already celebrating. Here's why the world is still anxiously awaiting the outcome of the nail-biter 2020 election but Wall Street is already in full-blown celebration mode. The S&P 500 has surged nearly 7% this week, putting the benchmark index on track for its best election week performance since 1932 according to Bespoke Investment Group. The rally reflects a sense of relief among investors that once all the votes are counted neither party will have a stranglehold over Washington.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.